For 15 years, I pushed a mop across the gleaming floors of Apex Towers in New York, my name, Lila Sharma, stitched on my faded blue uniform. At 50, I was just the cleaning lady to the suits rushing past, their briefcases swinging, their eyes never meeting mine. The CEO, Richard Vance, was the worst, strutting through the lobby like a king, barking orders, his smirk cutting deeper than his words. One morning, he spilled his latte near the elevator and snapped, "Clean it, janitor." The staff snickered. I gripped my mop, face burning, but said nothing. That was the day I decided enough was enough. Where are you watching this from? Drop your city below. Every night, I cleaned empty offices, the city skyline glowing outside. Richard's corner suite was a mess, papers strewn, coffee cups abandoned. I'd overhear him during the day, firing folks without a blink, laughing about, trimming the dead weight. Once, I saw him shredding documents, financial records he didn't want seen. I stayed quiet, but I was watching. Always watching. What would you do if you caught someone hiding something shady? 15 years ago, my aunt, a silent investor, left me majority shares in Apex. Nobody knew. I could have sold them, but I stayed, mopping floors, seeing how Richard turned the company into his personal empire. Good people, janitors, clerks, lost jobs while he bought another car. Those shares were my secret weapon. After that latte incident, I called my friend Priya, a lawyer. Over coffee, I said, "It's time." She grinned. "Lila, you're about to flip their world." Ever had to hold back a secret that could change everything? That latte incident lit a fire in me. I'd spent years at Apex Towers, invisible, mopping up after people like Richard Vance, who treated us like dirt. But his cruel laugh, calling me janitor in front of everyone, was the last straw. I wasn't just Lila Sharma, the cleaning lady. I held the majority shares of this company, a secret I'd guarded for 15 years. That night, pushing my cart through the dark offices, I felt the weight of my uncle's legacy. He trusted me with those shares, and I'd watched Richard ruin good people for too long. Ever been pushed so far you had to act? I met Priya at a diner, far from Apex's glass walls. Over chai and fries, I spilled everything, Richard's layoffs, the shredded papers, his smug arrogance. Priya's eyes gleamed. "Lila, you're the majority shareholder. You can take him down." I'd been sneaky, snapping photos of those papers in his office, stashing them in my cart. Numbers didn't add up, offshore accounts, fudged reports. Priya called it a goldmine. "We hit him at the shareholders' meeting," she said. My heart pounded. Could I really do this? "What's the boldest move you've ever planned?" Back at work, I kept my head down, mopping floors, blending in. Richard strutted past, oblivious, bragging about profits while I dusted his desk. My phone buzzed, Priya's texts, "Evidence is solid." Late at night, I'd slip into the copy room, printing emails I'd pulled from his trash, proof he'd bullied staff, cooked the books. My hands shook, but I felt alive, like I was finally fighting back. One night, I overheard him gloating on a call about squeezing the little guys. I smiled. He had no clue what was coming. "What's the sneakiest thing you've ever done?" The shareholders' meeting was a week away, and I played my part perfectly, Lila Sharma, the invisible cleaning lady at Apex Towers. Each night, I pushed my cart through silent offices, the New York skyline twinkling like it was cheering me on. Richard Vance's office was my focus. His scattered papers, tossed coffee cups, and late-night calls gave me everything I needed. I'd snap photos of documents, shady deals, hidden losses, slipping them into my bag. My heart raced every time. Ever felt the thrill of doing something no one suspects? Priya, my lawyer friend, was piecing it together. We'd meet at that diner, poring over my photos. "Lila, this is dynamite," she'd say, circling numbers that screamed fraud. Richard was skimming profits, firing workers to pad his bonuses. I found an email where he called us disposable ants. It stung, but it fueled me. Priya said, with your shares and this evidence, he's done. What's it like to hold proof that could ruin someone's game? I got bolder. One night, I fished a crumpled memo from Richard's bin, orders to cut safety budgets. I photocopied it, my hands steady now. Another time, I overheard him laughing about dodging taxes. I recorded it on my phone, his voice clear as day. Every piece was a brick in the wall I was building. But I stayed invisible, mopping floors, nodding politely as Richard barked orders. He'd smirk, clueless, while I memorized his every move. The meeting was close, and I was ready. Ever had to play it cool while planning something huge? That night, I sat in my tiny apartment, staring at Priya's texts, "We've got him." My uniform hung nearby, a reminder of who I'd been, and who I was about to become. Tomorrow, I'd walk into that meeting and change everything. What keeps you up before a big moment? The night before the shareholders' meeting, sleep was impossible. In my cramped Brooklyn apartment, I sat at my kitchen table, staring at a stack of evidence Priya had organized. Photos, emails, recordings, every lie Richard Vance told, every rupee he'd stolen from Apex Towers, laid bare. My cleaning uniform hung on a chair, smelling of bleach, a silent witness to my 15 years of patience. I wasn't just Laila Sharma, the mop-pushing nobody. I was the majority shareholder, and tomorrow, I'd make them see. Ever stayed up all night planning your next move? I thought of my aunt, who'd gifted me those shares. She'd believed in me, trusted me to do right. This wasn't just for me, it was for every janitor Richard fired, every assistant he mocked. I whispered to myself, tomorrow, he's done. My phone buzzed, Priya's text, "You're ready, Laila. Stay sharp." My stomach churned, but I felt a fire inside. What's the biggest risk you've ever taken? I rehearsed my speech in my head, picturing Richard's smug face when I'd walk into that boardroom. They'd laugh, thinking the cleaning lady had lost it. Until I dropped the truth. I imagined the crew, Ravi, Maria, the others, smiling when they heard. They deserved better than Richard's cruelty. I checked my folder again, my aunt's will, the share documents, the proof of his fraud. Airtight. Ever held something that could change everything? Outside, New York hummed, unaware of the storm I was about to unleash. I looked at my mop, leaning against the wall. Tomorrow, it wouldn't define me. I'd walk into Apex not as the invisible cleaner but as the woman who owned it. My heart raced, but I was ready. What's it feel like to know you're about to turn the tables? The morning of the shareholders' meeting, I walked into Apex Towers, my bucket rattling like always. My navy uniform hid the fire in my chest. The boardroom buzzed with suits, their voices dripping with confidence. Richard Vance sat at the head, smirking, boasting about record profits. I waited in the hall, gripping my cart, my phone buzzing with Priya's text, "Now, Laila." I took a deep breath and pushed through the doors. Every head turned. Richard snorted, "What's she doing here?" Ever seen a room freeze in shock? I stood tall, still in my uniform, mop in hand. "I'm not just the cleaning lady, Richard," I said, voice steady. "I own this company." The room went silent, jaws dropping. Richard laughed, a loud, fake cackle. "Nice try, sweetheart. Back to your mop." The board chuckled nervously. I didn't flinch. I slapped my folder on the table, papers spilling out, falsified reports, shady emails, proof of his scams. "I've got the shares," I said. "And the votes." Ever watched a bully's smirk fade? Priya stepped in, holding my aunt's will and share documents. "Laila Sharma is the majority shareholder," she announced. Faces paled. Richard's jaw tightened. "You can't," he sputtered. "Oh, I can," I cut him off. "You're fired, Richard. Right now." The boardroom erupted in whispers. his fists clenched, eyes wild. I stayed calm, my heart pounding but strong. What's it like to see someone's world crumble? I turned to the board. Things change today. No more layoffs for profit. No more treating workers like trash. I pulled out my phone, showed a photo of the cleaning crew. They deserve raises. Starting now. A few clapped, hesitant, then loud. For the first time in 15 years, I wasn't invisible. Ever had a moment where you finally stood up? Richard Vance's face turned red as I fired him in that Apex Towers boardroom. He stood, fists clenched, hissing, "This isn't over," as he stormed out. The board sat stunned, papers of his fraud scattered on the table. I felt every eye on me, Lila Sharma, no longer the cleaning lady but the woman who'd flipped their world. I walked out, my bucket rattling one last time, and saw Richard in the parking lot, yelling into his phone, pacing like a caged tiger. Ever seen someone unravel that fast? By evening, my phone lit up, news alert screamed, Apex CEO ousted in shareholder coup. My leaked evidence hit the regulators hard. They froze Richard's accounts, seized his fancy cars, even his yacht. Online, people tore him apart, tweets called him a fraud, a bully. Memes of his latte-spilling arrogance went viral. I sat on my couch, sipping chai, and smiled. Karma didn't wait long. "What's the sweetest payback you've ever seen?" the cleaning crew texted me, ecstatic. Maria wrote, "Lila, you did it." I replied, "We did it." This was for them, Ravi, who'd been fired for asking for a sick day, Priya, who'd believed in me. I wasn't done. I called a meeting, still in jeans, no uniform. The board listened as I laid out new rules, fair wages, no shady cuts. People nodded, some in awe. Ever felt the rush of changing things for the better? Walking the halls, I saw smiles, real ones. A clerk stopped me, whispering, "You're a legend, Lila." I shrugged, but inside, I felt taller than Apex's skyscraper. For 15 years, I'd been invisible, mopping floors. Now, I was seen. I wasn't just fighting Richard, I was rebuilding a company. What's it feel like to finally be heard? The air at Apex Towers felt different the next day. I walked in, no uniform, just jeans and a kurti, my head high. People stared, not with pity, but respect. The cleaning crew mobbed me in the break room, grinning. Ravi handed me a coffee, saying, "Lila, you're our hero." I laughed, my first real laugh in years. For 15 years, I'd mopped these floors, invisible. Now, I was running things. Ever had a moment where you felt truly seen? I sat in Richard's old office, the city skyline sprawling beyond the glass. It was mine now. I signed papers for raises, starting with the janitors. No more layoffs to fund someone's yacht. I found an email from a fired assistant, thanking me, "You gave us our dignity back." My eyes stung. This wasn't just about me, it was for every worker Richard crushed. Ever had someone's gratitude hit you like that? My phone buzzed, reporters wanted interviews. A kid from accounting stopped me in the hall, eyes wide. "Lila, you're trending." I checked X, posts called me the cleaning lady CEO. I smiled, but kept focused. I put a suggestion box in the break room. First note? Better coffee. I ordered a new machine, laughing. Small changes felt huge. What's one small fix you'd make if you were in charge? That night, I met Priya at our diner. She showed me X, Lila Sharma shakes up Apex. We clinked soda cans, toasting like kids. New York's lights blinked outside, but I felt different, stronger. I'd waited 15 years, mopping floors, holding my secret. Now, I'd won. But victory wasn't just firing Richard, it was rebuilding Apex for everyone. What's the sweetest win you've ever tasted? A week later, a local news station called. They wanted me, Lila Sharma, on live TV to share my story. Nerves jangled, but I said yes. Sitting under bright studio lights, I told it all, the mop, the shares, Richard's downfall. The host leaned in. Why wait 15 years? I paused. I needed proof and the right moment. Calls flooded in, people cheering, some crying, saying I'd inspired them to speak up at work. I left the studio shaky but proud. Ever inspired someone without even trying? Back at Apex Towers, I kept changing things. I met the cleaning crew, asking what they needed. Miguel, a janitor, said, better hours, stronger gloves. Done. His kid saw me on TV and told him, I want to be like Lila. I blinked back tears. Tell her to be better than me, I said. It hit me, this was bigger than Richard now. I wasn't just fixing a company, I was giving people hope. What's one change you'd make to lift others up? But Richard wasn't gone quietly. I saw him on a cable show, ranting, calling me a sneaky cleaner who stole his empire. Then the host played security footage, Richard trashing his office after I fired him, screaming like a child. I laughed so hard I spilled my chai. Online, memes exploded, his meltdown trending. His old allies ditched him, his name became a punchline. Karma was relentless. Ever seen someone bury themselves deeper? Yet, I felt eyes on me. Walking home one night, a man lingered too close. My phone rang, Priya. Lila, Richard's been asking about you. Stay sharp. My stomach dropped. I'd won, but he wasn't done. I hired security for the crew, just in case. My mop was gone, my voice was my weapon now. Ever had someone try to drag you down after you rose? Richard's last move came fast. One morning, a lawyer strutted into Apex Towers with a lawsuit, claiming I, Lila Sharma, manipulated my shares to oust him. I met him in the lobby, calm as ever, and handed over my aunt's will, notarized, clean, undeniable. Priya stood beside me, smirking. The lawyer skimmed it, stammered, then left. Hours later, news broke, Richard's case was tossed. Judges called it frivolous, his legal fees piled up, his last allies bailed. He was finished. Ever seen someone's plan collapse in their face? I exhaled, truly free. Apex was thriving, no more fear in the halls, no more shady deals. The cleaning crew got new uniforms, the suggestion box overflowed with ideas. One note read, more chai in the break room. I laughed, ordering a stockpile. Miguel pulled me aside, grinning. My daughter's writing a school essay about you, Lila. My heart swelled. This wasn't just my victory, it was theirs. What's it like to know you've changed someone's life? Online, Richard's downfall kept trending. Ex-posts mocked his cable show meltdown, his condo-selling gig in some nowhere town became a joke. I didn't gloat, I was too busy. Reporters kept calling, but I focused on Apex. I framed that first suggestion note, better coffee, on my desk, a reminder of who I fought for. Ever kept something small to ground you? But I stayed cautious. Priya warned Richard might still lurk. I doubled security, walked home with eyes sharp. He'd lost everything, his empire, his name. I'd faced him once, I'd do it again if needed. My voice, not my mop, defined me now. I'd spent 15 years invisible, but now, I was unstoppable. What's it feel like to know you've won for good? A year later, Apex Towers was unrecognizable. I, Lila Sharma, ran things my way, no uniform, just purpose. The halls buzzed with energy, people smiled, no longer scared of layoffs. The cleaning crew got raises, better hours, and respect. I kept that suggestion box, reading every note. One said, more team lunches. I made it happen, watching janitors and clerks laugh together over biryani. It felt like family. Ever turned a cold place warm with small changes? My inbox overflowed, reporters, ex-workers, even strangers inspired by my story. A young janitor wrote, "You showed me I'm not invisible." I teared up. On X, Cleaning Lady CEO was still trending, my TV interview replayed online, sparking posts about standing up to bullies. I wasn't a hero, just a woman fed up, but it felt good to inspire. Ever had your story ripple beyond you? Richard Vance was a ghost now, selling condos in obscurity, his name a punchline. I heard he tried one last interview, but the host grilled him with my evidence. He crumbled, viewers laughed. Karma had spoken. I didn't dwell on it, I was building something better. Apex's profits rose, but so did trust. I hung my old uniform in my office, a reminder of where I started. What's a keepsake that grounds your journey? That night, I walked New York streets, no longer looking over my shoulder. Priya texted, "You shook the world, Lila." I smiled. 15 years of mopping, hiding my shares, led to this. I wasn't invisible anymore. I was proof you could rise, no matter how low you start. If I could do this, so can you. Hit like, subscribe, and check the playlist for more stories like mine. Where's karma headed next for you?